Happy Sunday, y'all. All right, give me a minute. I got to open the window. It's warm. All right, I am a few minutes behind. StreamYard, this tool that I use, is very funny. And I apparently had a window open somewhere else on my computer because anybody who knows me knows that I have lots of windows open on my computer. But StreamYard does not like that. And so it will create an echo. So I had to figure out in all of my windows where that was. And that was not an easy task. So apologies and good morning and good afternoon. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Hello, Catherine. Hi, Evelyn. Evelyn is here giving some recommendations. I think that's the cottage cheese that I like. Is that the one where you fold it and the fruit goes in the other side? I think that's the one that I've tried. Hello, Anita. Welcome. Happy Sunday, y'all. Glad y'all are here. I appreciate y'all. Okay, yes, I like that one too. Happy Sunday, Roslyn. Happy to see you here in the chat. All right, good people. Hi, Brigitte. I am going to get started. Thank y'all for being here. Let me do my intro before I lose track and get off track and all the things. I am Jewel Pearson. As I introduce myself, I share that I built a tiny house in 2015 because I want to live in no freedom. That is my why. And it's a fancy tiny house because I don't believe you have to give up luxury to go tiny. I am a social entrepreneur, lifestyle architect, strategist, and a longtime advocate for intentional living and representation in the tiny house movement. I think I forgot to share the video of Cleveland here on YouTube. I need to do that. Anyway, as I got distracted, let me finish my intro. So after I have been living tiny for over a decade, I use that experience and my expertise to help others create intentional and self-defined lives. And the wind is blowing here, y'all, as you can see behind me. I do that through home design, through downsizing, through community. And if you want to connect with me and chat about all of that, once this goes live, you will find links to do so in the video description down below. As I say, it's not just about the tiny house. It's about clarity. It's about alignment. It's about liberation. And that's what we talk about over here. So if you are not subscribed to the channel, please do so right now. Turn on the notifications so that you will know when we are live over here. And do that for me, please. I'm always trying to grow the channel. Like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications. All right, happy Sunday, y'all. Hello. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Hi, Geraldine. Happy Sunday. It's a beautiful day here. The wind is blowing, which I believe means it's gonna get cold. Today the temperature is really nice. I was outside looking at the sky early this morning in my pajamas. So it was, and I didn't die, so it wasn't cold. But the wind is blowing, and so I believe it's gonna bring in some cold weather. So that's if you get distracted by my curtains blowing, that's what's happening. So I hope everybody is doing well. Today I am introducing and kicking off a new series. If you saw the thumbnail for this series, it is 7 Sundays to 2026. And I'll share how this came about, why it matters, or at least why it matters to me, and why I'm doing this now. And so, yeah, let's get into it. So when I was trying to figure out, I think it was Thursday, because sometimes I do prepare in advance. I was trying to figure out what I was going to talk about today. And I looked at the calendar and realized, including today, there are exactly 7 Sundays left before 2026. Hard to believe. Um, Evelyn, I saw a whole bunch of contrails, the lines in the sky. I had a whole bunch over my house this morning. That's what I was outside looking at. But anyway, so hard to believe that we are wrapping up 2025, but we are. And there are 7 Sundays left. I wasn't looking for anything. I was just trying to figure out what we were going to be talking about over here. And of course, the number 7 stood out for me. So I see in numbers, I talk in numbers. If that's too woo for you, you could probably exit left or right about right now. There's some stuff I just do and it makes sense to me. Maybe it doesn't for you. Don't send me a message saying I'm on the wrong path. It's not. Don't do any of those things that tell me how and why I shouldn't be thinking like that. Don't. I'm not going to read it. I'm very comfortable where I am. If you're uncomfortable, then I understand it, and you are welcome to exit left. Hey, Catrice. Absolutely. 7 is completion. I'm not in the mood for it. Don't send me a note telling me I need to think this way, and don't do it. Don't do it. Anyway, 7 is completion. Absolutely, Catherine. The closing of a cycle, it is integration. And as I was sitting and thinking about it, the work that I have been doing, hello. For me, right where I am right now, moving into 2026, these next 7 Sundays, the rest of this year, it's the threshold for 2026 for me. It's the doorway of who I've been, who I'm becoming. We did the Becoming series a few weeks ago. The life I've lived and the life that I'm intentionally designing that is next. Hi there. Hey y'all. Um, it's not about resolutions. It's not about New Year's resolutions. It's not the New Year, New Me thing. I don't do that. This is really about figuring out for me, for you, figuring out where you are in your timeline. We did the Becoming series, so you've been doing that work. I've been doing that work. I've really been doing that work. Figuring out where you are in your timeline and naming the season that you're in so that you can walk through that threshold, so you can walk into that season. You can walk into 2026 awake. It's being woke. You know. Eric, the canceling of the woke thing doesn't apply. We need to be awake. They don't want us to be awake because it is. Then you can see what's going on. So it is this. This is what this is. This is the threshold for moving into 2026. And so, um, for me, as I think about this work, so I always refer to my book that I have back here, Bruce Fielder, the Life is in the Transitions. And I've shared about that since. Thank you very much. I've shared about that since I read it. That's the book I took with me to San Miguel, September last year. And it was such a good read for me. And it in the book, and I've been sharing it with you all ever since, It talks about life not being linear, that it's made up of life transitions, and how life transitions are um, our defining moments. They're not interruptions, they're our defining moments. Hi, Kitty. Um, and these moments. So, moments is the nice description of it. They can be hard. They can be scary. They can be life-threatening. It could be illness. For me, the my latest transition was the stroke. Yeah, I said the stroke. Sometimes I say my stroke because there are some things that I claim around it, but I said the stroke. Um, so these moments, um, thank you. Um, these things that are the interruptions that break a pattern. You've been in this life space, and then something happens and breaks that pattern, this moment, this transition, this life quake. That's what he calls it. Thank you. Welcome back. This life quake that reshapes your direction or asks something new of you. My life quake was the stroke, and it has completely reshaped and asks something new of me. And I talk about that all the time. I talk about it later. Um these transitions, these life quakes are where identity shifts. It is breaking of a pattern. It's opening a new path. Sometimes a lot of times it's not where you, it's not where, because Catherine is going to say my stroke or the stroke. She's going to get me. It is sometimes this pattern, this break in the pattern happens, and you are quite content on previous pattern, and so you go kicking and screaming into this new path. This new path is decided for you. Even though I was asking for direction and what to do, where to go, how to get away from where I was in corporate America, I didn't necessarily ask for the stroke. It's not what I would recommend, but it was the moment, the interruption, the life quake that took me to this new path. It broke a pattern for me. And so this is where as you're going to this new path, this transition, this is where, hello, this is where new meaning is made. This is where clarity lives. You might have to get to the clarity, but it is where clarity lives. Thank you very much. And so this moment, the end of 2025 is one of those transitions. For me, it is a closing gate, a natural completion for me of a long chapter of figuring out, of finding out, of transition, a life quake that sent me on a new path. It is a moment, this closing, this completion is where you're moving from an old lane. It's an old way of operating. It's old expectations that just don't fit anymore. And sometimes it's hard to sit in the stuff where stuff doesn't fit anymore. Like, I mean, it happens with clothing. If you think about clothing, if you move up from your clothing size and stuff doesn't fit anymore and it's uncomfortable, you're trying to still fit in stuff that doesn't fit, or vice versa. If you move down in size and stuff isn't fitting, it's too big. Even from the perspective, and this is something that in this transition for me, I've also had to work on. Sometimes you look changes in this transition. So for me, I'm a different person emotionally, mentally. The stroke, my new brain that I talk about, my post-stroke brain, changed me internally. I grew some hair. It's all gray. It is like it there is it's all new. It's a life quake. It's a transition. It is figuring out when things don't fit anymore. The way in clothing, as like with gray hair as an example, I've had to adjust my coloring, my clothing, because my gray hair presents differently. So it is where the old lane, you're moving from that old lane, the old way of operating, the old way of appearing, the old way of showing up, old expectations, and these things just don't fit anymore. Um, I've shared that in the old location before the stroke, as I was trying to figure out this new path, I just had this feeling, and I would say it out loud, something good is on the way. I've shared that. I my energy told me something good was on the way. I didn't know what it was, but I knew something good was on the way. That's what my energy, my spirit was telling me. I don't know that I identified um, the stroke as being the good. Definitely didn't identify it initially. It wasn't, thank you. It wasn't until I started reading Bruce's book. I said Bruce's book like I know him. That it started making real sense to me, because the stroke opened so many things, so many portals, so many things I had to figure out mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, people, places, things. And so, again, I didn't know what it was, but I felt it coming. I am in this new location. I am just a few weeks away from being here a year. I moved my house here December the 4th. And I've also shared I don't recommend moving in the winter, but my plan was to do the hard stuff during the winter so that by spring I'd be in place and I could enjoy my space and work on the healing. I wanted to be in place in the springtime. Spring is renewal. I wanted to be in place for spring. I am settled in, and this space has been so gracious to me in my healing, in my becoming, in offering me peace, leading me to clarity, allowing me to figure out who I am post stroke. Good morning. Absolutely, WLJ. Um, this space hasn't just been good to me. My house is home. Like, my house has always been, since I built it, has been the interior has always been my sanctuary. It has always been my space of peace. But now my house is happy in this place. My house is showing up differently. And because of that, it's even given more to me. Absolutely. This is I've shared my front yard garden. This, like I said this morning, I was outside in my pajamas I got neighbors, but I'm very comfortable out here in my pajamas. I sit in my front yard in my pajamas. This space, this place, this home here has given me um, more connection to the universe. The universe can speak to me here because I'm in open and I'm in gratitude and I'm happy here. My house is happy here. And so, um, and then the community gathering that we had, now it's been 2 Sundays ago, added so much more to that for me. It was confirmation of a lot for me. Also, the fact that people, community feels the energy of my house when they come into my house. Um, there was so much confirmation. And so that is what this space has offered me in 2025. What I have experienced here in this space in 2025 would not have been experienced in the other location. Also, moving in the winter, I knew I wanted my house to be in the new space going into 2025. Like I'm very, maybe methodical is the word. Thank you. In doing things. Going into a new year means a lot for me, and I've always been that way. For Thank you. Thank you, y'all. Um I have not been the New Year's Eve party person. I have always been the people I bring in a new year with are the people that I want to spend time with in that new year, and that's not going to be a bunch of strangers. Um, and so I've always been that way. My daughter, my daughter has a funny New Year's Eve story. But for many years, my New Year's Eve was spent on my couch and I watched Waiting to Exhale. That's my New Year's Eve movie. And so I knew I wanted my house to be in this space moving into 2025. And thank you. Thank you. Um, y'all know y'all have to be careful. Make me get emotional. My new brain is emotional even more than I was. Thank you, WLJ. Um, so this is like the development of where these 7 Sundays are going. Um, we did the Becoming series a few weeks ago. We did the Becoming series, which was about, thank you, shedding. It was about releasing. It was about choosing yourself again. It was about letting go of who you've been required to be. It was about sitting in the meantime. And nobody really talks about the meantime when you're in that space of who I am and who I'm shifting to be, but I'm not there yet. Hey, Shay. Thank you, Audrey. Hey, Shay. Um, Being in that meantime, as stuff is shifting around you, you're not there yet. You're not that same old person, but you are in this space of transition in this meantime. And we talked about navigating grief around that because it's often a very uncomfortable space. Your mind is all over the place. You're trying to figure out what happened to old me, where I'm supposed to be going, what I'm supposed to be doing. People, places, things are shifting around you. So that meantime is is a lot of what we talked about in the Becoming series. And gratefully, like, and as I always share, the stuff that I share is the work that I'm doing for myself. And so um folks shared that resonated with you all, resonated deeply, and I'm glad. And so these next 7 Sundays are, it's not the becoming. um this is the embodiment of the becoming. This is like, this is the next layer. This is what it looks like to live in the clarity that the becoming work revealed or is revealing. This is what the next 7 Sundays are about. It's about living that clarity, that becoming revealed. It's not about becoming, it's about being. It is being. Um, Thank you, Jacqueline. Um, so I've been in this space. I keep sharing that 2025 was the space of, in one of the series, I'll talk about this further. So I had the stroke December 2023. All of 2024 was focused on surgeries and physical health. And there really wasn't time to focus on the mental, emotional side of it. I had to focus on surgeries and physically healing. And also had my neurologist who was gaslighting me as I was trying to understand the mental pieces of it. And so that 2024 was hard in that way, because I was I had to focus so much on the healing, like what caused the stroke and how to fix that. And so 2025, as I got into it, and then I shared the testing that I took that blew it wide open to say, you had major impact from the stroke. You didn't have a mini stroke, as they had told me all of 2024. You had a big stroke, a major stroke, a stroke, not a mini stroke. And so 2025 is absolutely in the meantime. 2024 was in the meantime. So 2025 has been no, 2025 has been the meantime. 2024 was who I was. 2025 has been the meantime. Absolutely. So I've been doing a lot of work trying in the meantime space, in the becoming space. And I just did, I was just introduced to something called the human design. Hold on, y'all. It's a heater on somewhere in here. I'm hot. Hold a minute. I'll be back. There was a heater on. So I was just introduced to what is human design. And okay, so let me, before I get into human design, it is kind of like, as I've been reading about it, people have been saying it's the evolution of astrology. It's the new thing, the evolution of astrology. I'm not talking to it from a mystical woo-woo place, but from an energetic and practical place. It's an energetic blueprint. It's a way of understanding your energy, how your energy operates, how you move through the world, how you make decisions, and what actually supports you instead of draining you. let me go back. Um, Absolutely, thank you. Let me go back. I'll go back to how I started early in my conversation here. As I said, I see numbers. I I personally, this is my channel. The what is it, that statement that says the views here are a reflection of my views and they might not be anybody else's view. This is Jewel's channel. So Jewel talks about what Jewel feels, believes, shares. You are welcome to subscribe to other beliefs. Don't send me a message saying I'm thinking wrong. Don't send me none of that. I ain't gonna read it. I feel, and on this last time I'm gonna say that it is arrogant of me, of us. This is my belief about the world. I feel like it is arrogant of us to feel that to be such beautiful creations, intricate human being creations with brains and hearts and souls, and your fingers work and your eyes see, and all of the things that make each individual human um so beautiful. Our individuality, just the way our bodies work. I feel it is very arrogant to believe that we are the only things that create in this world in that manner. And when I say that, I say it in not believing that the stars and the moon and the sun and their rotation and the date that you're born, and the rotation of the sun, the moon, and the stars relative to when you were born. Um, like we know women go into labor when the tide comes in, is the tide comes in, I think it is. Um, so I believe all of that impacts who I am, who people are, how we function, how we think. I think it is of all a beautiful design. It is doesn't mean I have to read my horoscope before I leave each morning. Um, I hope that helped. I don't know if it helped. Um, um, I'm not saying I don't go out without reading my horoscope. I'm not saying any of that. Folks who do it, that's your business. It ain't mine. Um, but I truly believe it is all connected. I believe crystals have power. I believe the moon has power. I believe the sun has power. I believe the stars have power. I believe they all have power on me. I believe the universe talks to me. Let me see what else I believe. I believe the date, time that I was born, all of that kind of stuff makes sense to me, and I believe it has an impact on who I am, who people are. And it's not how I was raised. It is nothing like any of um my religious beliefs growing up. So if anybody knows any of my people, don't it doesn't have anything to do with them. It is me. Um and I'm okay with all of that. So absolutely. Things are living, trees are living. So much of this intentionality became my awareness in my home, which is why I always say it's not just about the tiny house. So those are the things. So that was my disclaimer. Jacqueline, we'll see you soon. Um, have a good day. If any of this makes you uncomfortable, I said I see in numbers. If any of this makes you uncomfortable, feel free to leave. Don't send me a note. I ain't gonna read it. So we have that out the way, so I don't have to explain that anymore. So human design. is about that. You enter your birth date. It's very helpful if you know the exact time, your location, and it gives you your human design based on that. Um, it didn't change who I am. It helped getting my human design didn't change who I am, but it helped explain my patterns, my burnout, and my burnout is so different now post stroke. It helped explain that. Um, my clarity, it helped explain that. Helped bring clarity. And why the things that used to work for me stopped working. And so I've shared my stroke impact to my impact in my brain from the blood clot was to my executive functioning. That is your processing, that is your organization, that is your multitasking, it is so much of your functioning. I was a very high project management, product manager, organized, boom, 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 get all the things done kind of person. And that stopped working from the impact to my executive functioning. But what human design has shown me is that it's not really who I was designed to be. I would say it was more of a trauma response. It's who I had to be. And it is, I was operating. So there are different design categories: projector, generator, manifesting generator, and one, it starts with an R. It's like reflective, but that's not the word. It'll come to me, maybe. I was corporate America's dream. Absolutely. I was very good at what I did because that is how I operated. But I am a projector, is what my human design profile tells me. I'm not here to hustle. I'm not here to constantly produce. I am here to see, to guide, to offer insight through clarity, and it makes sense. Like the stroke broke my ability to operate as a generator, which isn't truly who I am. It is who I've been operating as because I had to. I needed those jobs to make the money I needed to make, and trauma response. Single mom, making myself be who I needed to be so I could take care of take care of my child, live a life that allowed us to be okay. Absolutely. And so this work, I suggest everybody take a look at their human design. It might be eye-opening, might provide some clarity, especially coming from the Becoming series. There was so much that just kind of opened up who I am, who I should be. It was kind of where I was journaling. I was like, the stroke broke me in some ways, but the thing that broke me actually fixed me because now I am understanding so much better who I am, how I'm meant to operate, and why I can't go back to operating in that old way. Impact from a blood clot in the brain relative to a stroke, but also fixing what was more so trauma, a trauma response. So that's human design. My human design, I am a projector. I don't force, I'm not supposed to hustle, not pushing. And so that is where this 7 Sundays in 2026 is was born. Um, oh, thank you, Evelyn. Because in these 7 Sundays, it will be, for me, it is, I have to, as a projector, I have to name the cycle so the path opens. And so naming a cycle is what opens the next invitation. That's clarity before action. That is direction before design. That's alignment before you move. And that is what my energy needs. And this series is a part of that. So that's kind of the background, how this came about for me. And I'll maybe talk about my human design profile a little bit later. Um, I love that. My human design profile says that I am a researcher, a foundation builder, a depth person. I do need to know and understand. I don't do surface work. I don't do surface people. I need understanding. Um, and before my stroke, I could kind of override some of that, not a lot. But I could push through. Like at work in that mode, there's not often time to do the researching because it's got to go, which has always been a struggle for me. Maybe sometimes I'd even ignore my own intuition, which is dangerous. Again, I could move like a generator, but the stroke overrode all of that. My energy had to become honest. I can't. I literally can't. My brain goes into overwhelm to try to go back into those modes. I've shared how putting my house back together was such a challenge. And it made me have to sit with it. Like even my mother said to me, I'm surprised you're still putting your house back together and unpacking boxes because normally you'd have that done. Absolutely. My energy became honest. My body, my brain, I became honest in how I need to operate. So this human design work didn't change me. It did more of revealing and giving me clarity as to why I can't do those things, and why I need to move in new ways. And so this 7 Sundays of 2026, this Sunday series is part of that truth, that alignment. Thank you, Shay. And it has been a journey. Like I have shared with you all how my new brain works as far as like the aphasia, like post stroke. Like there's a lot of stuff and it's the stuff that people don't see externally, and so they assume that you're okay. And thank you. Y'all not getting ready to get me right this minute. Make me cry. Thank you, Evelyn. Um the aphasia, when words don't come, or as I've shared, when words get right here in the front of my brain and I can see them, I can tell you what it starts with, and it just doesn't come down. And I've said it's like a vending machine. I can see it, or when you put your money in the vending machine and the thing comes to the front, but it doesn't drop so you can get it. That's the way words are for me. The most amazing thing when this 2025 started bringing this clarity for me, because I had said that before. I said that to my old neurologist. And when he was trying to play me like I was just wanting to get out of work, that wasn't anything wrong with me. He completely was like, that that nope, that doesn't sound right. And my new neurologist, a black woman I go to in Winston-Salem, I drive almost an hour to go see this black woman in a neurologist in Winston-Salem. I found her on Instagram. I'm grateful she was putting her information out there. I'm happily driving an hour so I can go be seen, physically seen, medically be seen as by this black woman who sees me as a human when my white male neurologist, who I actually liked the man, didn't see me for shit. So I'm dealing with this. I see the word come forward. I can tell you what it starts with, but I can't get the whole word. And black woman neurologist sends me to a therapist, and the therapist had some handouts for me. First time meeting me, she had some handouts, and this handout explains how people experience words and being able to tell you, describe the word, but not being able to pull the word forward. Damn it. So it's a whole real thing that folks know about, that some research has happened. It's a thing. White man neurologist was playing me like I was just crazy. It's a whole thing that apparently I'm not the only one experiencing it. And had he been on his job and not just gaslighting me, he would have known that. 2025 brought the clarity, the justification. That isn't the word I want. Y'all help me with the word. It's not justification. He didn't care. It was, y'all know the word I'm trying to say. Like for 2024, I felt crazy. 2025, I'm not crazy. Brigitte said, do your job, Playboy. I'm not crazy. It was whatever my word is that I can't pull, so that I could start the healing. It was the recognition of everything that I've said for what I'm experiencing, what I'm feeling is absolutely realization. That's still not the word, but thank you for that one. I'm not crazy. And that the testing and the realization and my new neurologist broke all that open for me. Validation. Thank you. That's what I needed. Validation. And so that was the becoming, that was that in the meantime, 2025 for me to help me figure out who I am and now where to go. And it was the grief and it was all that stuff in between there in that meantime space. The stroke broke me from this person I had been operating. I was in this meantime, and and now I'm in on the other side of that, and the clarity is here. So it is the work that I'm figuring out how I move, what I do here. Absolutely. You'll hear me talking about the off ramp. That is the thing that I've been designing in the background that I got to share with folks here the other week when they were here. It's not fully built. It's not going to be a launch. It is a direction it's a framework for the work that I've been doing in around designing life with intention, with energy, with alignment and liberation versus just survival. Tanya, I have spoken. I see your note about going through that with your doctor. You have to be your number one advocate. And that's the thing. Push, ask for all the tests, ask for stuff in writing, push. You have to be your own advocate. Ask for another doctors. Try to see Black folks who can see you as who you are if you're Black. I'm assuming you are. That might not be a good assumption. Make sure somebody sees you for who you are. But the off ramp, it's a framework. It is the clarity that's happening for me to pull together everything that I do and talk about and the work that I do. The intentional space that feels less tiny houses and more who we are as people, not saying that I am a therapist, anything like that. I ain't trying to be that. Um, I don't think I'm that. But the intentional living around tiny houses has helped me speak on some of that through my lived experience. So here I am. Again, if you need to exit left, exit left. I'm okay. And so this framework, this off ramp, one of my mentors helped me pull it together. This is the pulling of all of that together. So it helps with who I am and what I'm here to do and the gift that I'm here to work through. And so that is the off ramp. And I'll be introducing that more. But these next 7 Sundays is where I will intentionally and consciously, and you'll hear me use a lot of metaphors around highways. The off ramp represents the highway, leaving the old highway, leaving the highways of stress and overwhelm and congestion. When you think about traffic, everything that brings up, leaving that and getting into the next exit, the exit that brings joy, that brings liberation, that brings peace. And this is the off ramp, is that next exit for my work and my life. Absolutely not, Brigitte. Um, absolutely not. It ain't nothing political I want to do. That is a very broken system, steeped in white supremacy. I want no parts of it. I will keep working on tiny house legislative stuff, but absolutely not tiny house stuff as I can work within these systems. But other than that, oh hell no. Um, my no, I'm that's not my ministry. Absolutely right, Tanya. Bid that doctor farewell. This is an important and substantive discussion. Sorry, this is growth, alignment, self reflection, moving with intention and purpose. I love this. Thank you. I hope it is. Thank you. Um, that's funny. I want to give people. I'm doing the off ramp. I want to give people the opportunity to exit left, exit right, whatever. If what I do and talk about doesn't align, please take the next exit. Um, um, so that is the absolutely the next 7 Sundays. Today being the first. Thank you. This is me in this what 2025 has offered me. One of the things I got from Exodus Summit, like I got a lot, but one of my big notes that I got from Exodus Summit was exactly clarity is confidence. And when that clarity starts hitting, the confidence that comes with that is like earth shattering. Like before, where like my old neurologist was suggesting that I was depressed. where my lack of motivation, and I still have to work to be in alignment with the way I need to move. But the confidence that clarity brings opens doors, literally and figuratively. Absolute clarity is confidence. And this human design work and the work that I was able to put into, and it has been, I am so grateful for this space and this time, my disability, um, the opportunity to sit and to be able to really heal, because I would not have been able to do any of this in with corporate America. Um, the confidence that comes with the clarity, and the clarity has come from sitting still and being quiet and listening. We've talked about that. Being in community, being in right community. And right community is important as we start heading into holidays and people feel obligated to be in community with people, places, and things who aren't your right community. Don't do it. Take that exit off the highway, left or right. Left is the, what is it? The high, what is the HOV lane? Whatever that stands for. Left exits are your HOV lane, like move real fast over there. Exit right. Community, being in right community leads to clarity and the space to heal and do this work, to do the becoming work, to do these next 7 Sundays, the embodiment of the becoming. And that is the confidence and clarity, the clarity and confidence. It is all connected. That was that was I have a note right here on my computer. There were two things that came out of exit, two things that I have on my computer. I have a note, because y'all know I got to have notes with my post-stroke brain, my new brain. um move with more audacity. Humility is not for Black women. That was a big one that I got from Exodus Summit that I wanted to have right here as a reminder. And then clarity is confidence. And that is what 2025 has opened for me. And this is the threshold for 2026. This is the next 7 Sundays of what I will share, where I'm not rushing it. I'm not forcing anything. Projectors don't rush. Projectors don't force. Projectors wait to be invited in. This 2025 has been the invitation to figure out. And I'm naming it as to what it is, because that's what opens the path. Same, I understand that. And so today was really simple. Today was the intro to this. Not for Black women. Humility is not for Black women. We are here to live audaciously. We have been asked to downplay and not shine and be humble and take care of everybody else for too long. Absolutely. Absolutely. So today was about naming the threshold, the work that these next 7 Sundays I'll share. Again, it ain't stuff that it's work that I'm doing that I share. Amen, Bridget. Understanding why transitions happen, recognizing the timing of this moment, the 7 Sundays that showed up for me. I see numbers. 7 is completion. I always see the number 627. 627. That's my daughter's birthday, June 27th. As I've looked that up, 627 represents finding the balance between the spiritual and the practical. Your spiritual and what you do in life, your practicality. Um, 627. I will always see 627 on the clock. My daughter's birthday and what that represents. This is my sixth location. Six is about balance and harmony, and that is what this location um, has has brought for me. So the next 6 Sundays that we have outside of, I hope you've looked that up to see what that means. Um, Recognizing the timing as we move into 2026 and crossing that threshold if we're ready. We can't rush becoming. Becoming isn't you doing the work. As we talked about in the Becoming series, it's not you pushing and doing the work, it is letting it happen organically. And so, if you're still in that becoming as you move into 2026, that's okay. This isn't anything to rush. Um, Beautiful. Um, Thank you, Shay. Um, your your sister, like y'all got the same mama, sister Evelyn. Welcome Yolanda, or your sister in Christ. 555 equals change. I see in numbers. I see in numbers all the time. It's another way for the universe to talk to you. Um, Real sister. Oh, I see Ellis now. Y'all are real sisters. Welcome, Yolanda. Happy to have you here. Um, Sometimes, Catherine, you need to know. Let me send you a picture. No, you can't come. I'm clear. Everybody can't come to your house. It don't matter who they are. Don't matter. Send us some pictures. Welcome, Yolanda. I'm glad to have you here, and I'm glad you are enjoying this conversation. The 7 Sundays to 2026 will move from transition to clarity to alignment to intention. We are moving in intention. We're living in intention. We are focused on our energy. Absolutely. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So we'll be doing this work together. I'm always doing the work with y'all. So as we're moving into the week, no, everybody can't come to your house. Here's the thought as you carry this into the week. As if you're still working on in the becoming, that's where you need to be. Only stay where you need to be. Don't rush it. That's what we talked about in the Becoming series. We are letting things happen as they're supposed to happen. We're not rushing them at all. So if you're still in Becoming, then just fine. That's where you need to be. The question that you might ask yourself for this week, Shay, we've been on here for an hour. Yes, this is it. We've been here for an hour. We got 6 more Sundays to chat. But the question that you are asking is what cycle are you ready to complete? before 2026? What pattern, what expectation, what habit, what relationship, what role? Remember, we talked about roles, what identity, how have you been living and showing up that possibly isn't who you are, but you've been thinking you needed to show up this way or you had to show up this way? What identity is asking to be honored? What true identity? Remember, I just finished saying, as I talked through human design, I've been showing up as a generator. Um, my identity, the work that I've just done, I enjoy being with y'all too. The work that I have just done clarified that the human design work, I am a projector. My identity that is asking to be honored is that I am a projector and I need to move differently. I don't need to operate in trauma responses. What is asking to be appreciated? What is asking to be closed? What is asking to be completed? Becoming is one thing. We were talking about that. And completion, which is these 7 Sundays to 2026, is something totally different. And who you walk into 2026 as depends on what you choose to sit down in 2025, what you choose to close, what you choose to complete. It's not the new year, new me. It's not that I'm getting rid of all these people on my friend list. It's not that. It is the intention. It is the real work. This is the real work. Um, Whoo, Shay, you got me cracking up. That is hilarious. Let me drop my let me drop my info. Here you go. But that is hilarious, Shay. That has cracked me up. 7 Sundays to 2026 represents closing. 7 represents completion. We got 7 Sundays until we're moving into a new space. And so what cycle are you ready to complete before 2026? What pattern, what habit, what role, who you've had to be versus who you really are? What identity is asking you to say, hey, this is who I really am. I want to be this. I want to honor this. This is who I really am. And I'm going to be this in 2026. That's what we are working on in these next 7 Sundays. Thank you. Thank you, WLJ. I'm happy for you as well, Yolanda. That's beautiful. There will be no business as usual. I am in an MBA course through Next Economy, and it is asking you from a business perspective how you move forward in business without causing harm, new economies. It is speaking to how capitalism, colonialism has harmed and the way businesses are set up in business as usual, which is what made me think about that. We need a next economy. And for me, like all of this has just come together so beautifully for me in the ways that I want to be thinking. And so there, as the world is burning, what is our next economy? How are we moving so that we are honoring ourselves, honoring each other, honoring community, protecting community, because the world is burning. I live right outside of Charlotte. Ice hit Charlotte yesterday, and it is traumatic what they are doing. Um, and you can't turn it, you can't completely turn it off if you're a compassionate, absolutely. If you are of any decency. Also, as Black folks, we know we are always, it's not what's next. We already always have been on the docket. So it is, they're focused on the focus has shifted, but we're always in the crosshairs. It cannot be business as usual. We are being invited as the world is burning to do the work, to do the hard work. You can't pretend it's normal. To do the hard work of looking at systems, my work with Next Economy, looking at our systems, looking at ourselves. Climate change, like all of this shit is interconnected. And so we are being invited to do the hard work. We are being invited to step into these transitions for ourselves. And as we're doing these transitions for ourselves, what we, new, this person that we are honoring as we bring it into community, if everybody's doing this hard work, that improves community. It is the KKK. It is the, what was the slave patrol. Hey, Coach Donna. It absolutely is that. So this series is about honoring transitions, designing what comes next. Next Sunday, we'll talk about the transitions that quietly shift us, the ones that we don't always name out loud or explain, but that change everything. You don't have to name the stuff out loud if you don't want to. I do, because in the work that I do, when I say work, it's my quote fingers. The gift that I've been given in this tiny house space, in sharing my journey that started just as a house, but has transitioned into something so much more and so much deeper and better. And I share my journey because it is my lived experience. It is what qualifies me to be here in these conversations, to share these conversations. Again, I'm not a therapist, but lived experience teaches a lot. And so I share mine. I share mine out loud. I share mine out loud because I'm not ashamed to share them. Sometimes lived experiences bring shame. People are stuck in patterns of shame. I'm not. Gratefully, and therapy. Therapy helps, y'all. I'm a proponent of therapy, because shame is often a foundation for so much our in the Black community. So, working to undo that often requires therapy. I am a big proponent of therapy. But I share because, as I've said about the stroke, I don't want anybody else to have to experience that shit like I experienced it, and not nary another soul. So if I can share, to advocate for yourself, to listen to your body, don't accept a dumbass answer from a doctor. Welcome back, Sophia. If I can share that, and you can see I'm just a regular old person, but maybe my story changes the trajectory of somebody else's health, I'm here to do it. My gift is I had a cousin say to me, "You share a lot." He meant it as maybe I I took it. He meant it as you share too much. This is a gift. This is a gift that I've been given, and I recognize it. This I went to build a tiny house, and this journey, this intentional journey, opened so much for me and connected me with so many people like y'all right here that I would never ever have known. Uh, yes, please make sure the therapist ain't crazy too. Shame is rooted in respectability politics. Yeah. Um, I have been sharing my story. Um, I think the when I first realized it was so important for me to share my story and use my voice was in corporate America. As I worked in predominantly white spaces, and I realized that um, I realized that they held so many preconceived notions about young single mothers. And I'd sit there and listen to them. And I, in the beginning, and I was like, they have no idea that I'm sitting right here and I am a young single mother. And so then it became my journey to shoot down their damn preconceived notions. Y'all not gonna sit around and talk shit. Sorry. And I ain't gonna correct it about young black single mothers. Y'all's preconceived notions, the black welfare queen, all of that stuff that we see so predominantly right now. And that's when I think I first started sharing, because you all see me as, you know how you can work um in a space and you can be the good black, and they don't think you are um the person that they imagine the rest of the blacks to be, as they would like to refer to us. No, I'm one of them. I'm a young single mother. Got pregnant at 19, had my daughter as I was turning 20. I have been in the struggle. I raised my daughter. My daughter graduated undergrad summa cum laude. My daughter went to Harvard Law School. We have had our lights cut off. We've had our water cut off. We've um, all the things. But I'm not. You can't stereotype me. You can't stereotype us. Those are the things that you all want to think about us, because racism is real, and that's what you all have been taught, and that's not us at all. We're not a monolith. So sharing is a gift, because my sharing my story helps other people, and absolutely. And so naming it out loud as we talk about these next 7 Sundays, you don't have to. I do, because that's what I'm here to do. That's part of my gift, and I'm grateful for it. All right. Now we've been here at least an hour and 20 minutes. I'm going to let y'all get back to y'all Sunday. Thank y'all for being here, as always. Thank you for the new family that joined in. Um, Catherine said back in the day she used to cut her own lights back on. If I had known how to do that, man, listen. Um, that life made me who I am today, but it also was a lot of trauma response, which the stroke undid, and here I am. Happy Sunday, y'all. Next Sunday, Sunday number 2, we'll have we'll be closer to 2026. We're gonna be doing the work. Thank y'all for being here. Um, no, they can't come to our community, but they do, but they can't come over here. Um, Geraldine, safe travels. Thank you, WLJ. Same to you. Thank you, Yolanda. Welcome. Thank you, Evelyn, for bringing your family along. Sophia, enjoy. Thank you. Y'all have a great week. Shay, I'll see you later. Talk to you later. Um, all right. I enjoy my Sundays with y'all, and I'm grateful that y'all show up to support me. Thank you very much. Happy Sunday. Have a good week.